Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and streaming on YouTube.
It is the Morning Sports Desk on a Wednesday, the 12th of March. I'm CJ Baumgartner. That's Corey Tackman. Corey, a lot of high school sports to jump into on the Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. So why don't we just jump right into the game that you have tonight on KNSP The Fan?
Yeah, I've got coverage of Section 7 AA boys basketball from the University of Minnesota Duluth tonight. The second game of two this evening. Game number 1 will be Esco, the top seed in 7 AA, versus the 4 seed Piers. So the Eskimos and Pioneers will play the first game at about 5:30, and then scheduled to go at 7 o'clock tonight is the 6 seed Staples-Motley Cardinals and the 2 seed Pequot Lakes Patriots. Scheduled for a 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock tip from Romano Gymnasium on the campus of the University of Minnesota Duluth. You mentioned on the Fan, that's AM1430 98.5 FM. These two teams played each other. Now, no longer conference opponents after the dissolving of the Mid-State Conference. Pequot Lakes goes east for just about everything now. Staples-Motley goes east for basketball section play. They go west for conference play and Heart of Lakes conference play. Anyway, they did play during the regular season, CJ. It was a fairly significant Pequot Lakes victory when they played earlier in the year, a little over a month ago now, I guess maybe 6 weeks ago when they played. Patriots were without, at that time, their starting point guard, coach's kid, Spitzka. He was back and playing. I don't know at what point in the season he returned, but he played in the quarterfinal game the other night, got injured in that game too, but was able to come back and finish off that game and their victory over Duluth Marshall. But at that same time for Staples-Motley, it was just kind of a strange start to the season for them, right? There was a little bit of a hangover is too strong of a word from the fall and their football season, but the whole process of the year just got delayed a little bit. And there was just a weird time of year where they were starting to still trying to figure out who they were as far as a basketball team and what they were trying to get done and what everybody's roles needed to be. And they're a much different team at this point of the year than obviously they were. They'll be, I presume, again tonight without Alex Schultz, their senior kind of forward and leader. He is out for the season. They did get Grant Beslin back at a few weeks ago, and he's a really important cog for them off the bench, and just a really nice calming presence and a good defender and a good shot maker. And when things get hectic, if the ball ends up in Grant's hands, he just has a way of slowing things down and allowing everybody to get to where they need to be. And Eli Rutten and Avondre Brandt are just really great bucket getters for the if I start listing players here for Staples-Motley, I'm gonna have to list them all. And it's just a different each of these teams very different than they were 6 weeks ago. And I think Staples-Motley in particular, a much different team. They got an uphill battle with the 2 seed Pequot Lakes. The Patriots are an awesome basketball team. They're big everywhere. They're athletic everywhere. And this is not going to be an easy task. But much like a season ago, where Staples-Motley came in and upset some people along the way and all of a sudden found themselves deep in this 7 AA tournament, the Cardinals have it in them to do it here yet again. So I'm excited for this game. Some old conference rivalry blood should be cooking in this one from University of Minnesota Duluth. And it's got a 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock tip tonight on AM 1430 and 98.5 FM, The Fan.
And over on the Superstation K106, 105.9 FM, streaming online at WadenaRadio.com or the Superstation K106 mobile app. We have Section 6A North Sub-Section Championship tonight between Ada-Borup-West and Henning from the Hive in Perham. It's got a 6:45 pregame, a 7 o'clock tip-off on the Superstation K106. Coach Nate McCraven and Coach Randy Misegatis met at this point a year ago, where it was Ada-Borup-West getting the better of Henning to go to the 6A championship game. West Central would end up taking the section, but this is revenge for Henning to try and get the better of a team that had knocked them out of the playoffs a year ago. Ada-Borup-West, the 1 seed, 24-5 overall. Henning is 25-3 overall in the section. Henning was 10-0. Ada-Borup-West was 9-2 in the section. But when you're looking at QRF, Ada-Borup-West is a QRF of 116.1. Henning is at 106.1. Looking at Ada-Borup-West and how they got here, they beat Rothsay 85-49 last Thursday, and then got a win on Saturday over Hillcrest 60-45 to get to this point against Henning. Some of their losses on the season have come against the aforementioned West Central area. It was a 60-56 loss, so they played them pretty tough. They also lost to a good team in Cherry, 89-79. And then, of course, they lost to Park Christian 72-65 to begin the season. So there's just a few of the losses that they've kind of had sprinkled out throughout the season. They lost to a Pelican Rapids team that is really good, a Thompson team that's good as well. So there's not a bad loss on either of these two teams' schedules. For Henning, they were able to beat Underwood 67-29 last Thursday. They beat Park Christian 62-58 on Saturday. This should really be one of the best games I've called this season, Corey. I'm really expecting it to be top-notch today. I know you've seen Henning before and just some of the things that they can do really well. But on top of that, they got Cale Misegatis back over the last couple weeks, which has really allowed their team to get to that other level because you just are one player deeper, and the one player happens to be your best player. And not that he was the only reason they won on Saturday, but Cale made some big free throws down the stretch to help kind of ice that game against Park Christian. And not that they don't win it without him, but it's really hard to see them winning with him not on the floor. And they just have a chance to do it against an Ada-Borup-West team that knocked them out a year ago. I know this is one that they have circled on their calendars and they're ready to go with. And it's just going to be, it's just going to be a really nice basketball game. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. And we're rooting hard for our area teams here. Let's let's have a section championship game to cover. That'd be fun.
Why not have two? You know what I mean? That'd be pretty darn awesome. And by the way, you can check out our full broadcast schedule anytime, anywhere, any place at WadenaRadio.com or the Superstation K106 mobile app, or by going to Sports Cow on Facebook. Can I get a moo?
Moo, moo. Moo, moo. Moo.
Moo. We just got to get a hotkey for that.
Moo.
That'll end up taking it to another level. Before we get going to talk about some girls' state basketball, which begins today, I know our guy Zeke is down there doing some coverage of Alexandria. But before we do that, I want to take a quick word to thank the good folks at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. Corey, I know you know this, but have you tried their stuffed crust pizza yet?
No, it's my favorite pizza at Pizza Ranch. The stuffed crust is so good.
You can find unlimited stuffed crust on the buffet or order your favorite combination on stuffed crust for takeout. Remember, you can also earn double points on your purchases, cheesy purchases included, today and every Wednesday at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. And then you just start your order at the Pizza Ranch app or at pizzaranch.com. It's a super simple process. Or you can go right in. You can order your stuff at the buffet. They'll bring it right out to you. And then you just go to the FunZone Arcade while you wait, and you can load up on all of the great games and things that they offer there as well. Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. It's a great way to spend your night, a great way to get supper taken care of. Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. You can't go without it. They're proud sponsors of the Morning Sports Desk. Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. All right, Corey, state girls basketball begins today. I know our guy Zeke is down covering Alexandria area, but we're pretty well represented as we talked about on Monday. And again, there's a whole write-up online at WadenaRadio.com kind of talking about some of these matchups that are set here. But the 1A action will begin tomorrow where Walker Hackensack Akeley, the 8 seed, will take on the top seed at Goodhue. Cromwell Wright in West Central area in the 4-5. That's 1 o'clock on Thursday. But in AA and AAA things and 4A, things are really getting going with stuff at the Pavilion and at Williams Arena today. Minnewaska area taking on Sauk Center in the 4-5 matchup at Williams Arena. That'll tip off at 8 o'clock tonight. The top seeded Providence Academy is taking on New Richland HEG at 6 o'clock tonight. And then you also have Barnesville taking on Crosby Ironton in the 2-7. Of course, the Rangers are the 2 seed there. That's a 6 o'clock tip off tonight from the Pavilion. And then Caledonia, the 6 seed, taking on the 3 seed of Minnehaha at 8 o'clock tonight from the Pavilion as well. Alexandria area, the 5 seed, taking on De La Salle, the 4. That's tipping off at noon today. So that game may have already be taking place or be done by the time you're listening to this. But Brainerd also tipping off at noon against Lakeville North in the 5-4 matchup today. There is so much local girls basketball going on at the state tournament this year. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really awesome, and really happy for all the for the area teams involved with Brainerd and Alexandria area, Sauk Center, Crosby Ironton, Minnewaska area, Barnesville, Walker Hackensack Akeley, West Central area, and those area teams. And excited for them, and obviously good luck for them. Obviously, you don't get to the state basketball tournament without having some unbelievable teams, right? And there are some like juggernauts as far as like, surprise, surprise, Hopkins is in the 4A tournament, or, surprise, surprise, De La Salle is in the 3A tournament, or, wow, would you look at that? Goodhue is the number 1 seed in the Class A tournament. Who could have seen that coming? Or Mayor Lutheran and I forget their names, but they've got twin sisters who are just awesome basketball players who are dominant on the fall team as well. But this 2A tournament this year is where you combine the best teams and the best individual recognition names in the entire state. Providence Academy and Madden Greenway, Crosby Ironton and Torrey Orline, and Minnehaha Academy and Addie Mac. Like the names that we have really come to know in the state in women's basketball and girls basketball are all in this 2A tournament. And basketball is a team sport. I'm not here to deny that, and I don't want it to make it seem like I'm not. But it's also a sport of star power, and the 2A tournament has the biggest stars in girls basketball in the state. It's going to be just a stellar tournament.
It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. And of course, once we get through to the semifinals and championship games, you can listen and watch on the KSTP app, which is perfect if you don't have the channel on your TV at home, which is really awesome. Corey, I think that's about does it for us. I know you got to run to get to some girls basketball, so we're kind of making this an abrupt show today. But anything else sports-wise you want to get off your chest before we get out of here?
I do. You and I were talking beforehand, and there's not much detail that's really worth going into because it is purely all speculative. But you gave me a Vikings prediction in free agency that I just love. So let's go ahead and let's put this out do you feel comfortable putting this out into the open?
Oh,
we can end with this prediction wide out in the open, and this is a good way to end it. And then that way we can say when it happens, you heard it here first.
You heard it here first. The Minnesota Vikings should and could and have no reason not to go get Cooper Kupp from the Los Angeles Rams, expecting he is going to get cut today. Here's my 3-pronged approach to why Cooper Kupp, and this isn't like wouldn't it be cool the Vikings just got this top playmaker. Here's realistically 3 options or 3 reasons why this will happen. 1, Cooper Kupp, when Kevin O'Connell was in LA as the offensive coordinator and Vikings offensive coordinator Wes Phillips was also coaching in LA when the Rams won the Super Bowl, and Cooper Kupp was a huge part of that. So Kevin O'Connell and Wes Phillips will sing the praises of Cooper Kupp even when they're competing against him all day. They talk about Cooper Kupp all the time when they compare things to how wide receivers should do stuff. They love Cooper Kupp, and I'm sure Cooper Kupp loves that. That's number 1. Number 2, he would get to play with Justin Jefferson. So Justin Jefferson will take all of the double teams. He'll take all the good stuff. So he'll get so many favorable matchups to get a bloated stat line with everything. And then you have Jordan Addison being able to streak as your downfield option, Jefferson in the intermediate, and then you have Cooper Kupp working things on kind of the underneath. Superb. It'd be really, really nice. And thirdly, and this is the most important part, the Vikings can pay him. They have $40 to $50 million sitting in cap space. That doesn't mean that they're going to burn all that on Cooper Kupp. But what it is to say is you can overspend on Cooper Kupp and get a luxury for your team because you have the salary cap space to overpay for him. And if you're Cooper Kupp and you have coaches that love you, you have a great situation to walk into. The Vikings just made the playoffs a year ago. Justin Jefferson's wide receiver number 1 on the planet. Go play with him, get some favorable matchups, and go eat. And the Vikings will pay you what you're worth. And you have a head coach who will demand to the GM, hey, pay this guy. I mean, that's not to say Cooper Kupp is the only, to the Vikings, is the only realistic option. There's plenty of options for him to go to. But those are 3 realistic reasons why the Vikings could and should go get Cooper Kupp.
You heard it here first.
Bam. Done. This is the Morning Sports Desk. We'll see you tomorrow.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.